Okay, then let's start the organic evolution process here. That organic evolution, the topic which explains about the one after another and one from another. That life exists one after another and one from another. So the organic evolution, we use it to say here that in this particular chapter, the technical explanation of the organism evolution, what are the topics to be discussed here? The theories of origin of life. All these are theories. We can't say they are right or wrong here, but we say that various theories, in that most acceptable theories, evidences of evolution, theories of evolution, a brief account of evolution and human evolution. These are the issues. Among all the five topics, you need to just extract that examples out and you need to read that example, because most times organic evolution and neat examination point of view is examples. An orderly change from one form to the another. Evolution is an orderly change from one form to the another. We say that organic evolution and evolutionary biology, the study of history of life, forms on the earth. What do you say that as evolutionary biology? And the origin of life. So we are going a little in brief here, that we are not going for the huge explanation just now, that in examination point of view, what is necessary, what is required, that we need to go through. The Big Bang theory states that the universe originated about 20 billion years ago by a thermonuclear explosion of a dense entity, the Big Bang explosion. The Earth was formed about 4.5 billion years ago. There was no atmosphere on early Earth. The water vapor, that CH4 and CO2 and NH3, that means the methane, ammonia, and carbon dioxide released from the molten mass and covered the surface here. We'll take a little glance in this particular area. We'll take a small look in this particular area. Some issues are disturbing us. Okay. So imagine 4.5 to 5 billion years ago, the life is, the Earth is originated from the Big Bang explosion. At the time, Earth is a cloudy area. That means the full of clouds, and all the particular materials are in gaseous form only. They're all in the gaseous form itself. Carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, like that. Hydrogen is abundant of all, that we can say. That hydrogen is abundant of all. Okay, in that particular time, that after the explosion, that the temperature is about 5,000 to 6,000 degrees centigrade temperature at the time. The slowly, in the millions of years of time, that the condensation is getting started over. That because of reducing temperature, the condensation results the formation of core, mantle, crust. So finally, the earth solidification is happened over. At the time, these particular minerals are also get solidified in the form of mineral rocks. So as long as we need to understand here that all the events are happened because of cooling down of the earth. The temperature started from 5,000 degrees centigrade. When it is started cooling down, the main process that these are all things are going to happen. What all the things like the thing like, what do you say, the condensation of the earth, like crust, mantle, and core, and then after the formation of the rains, the continuous rains, millions of years rains. When rains happen continuously, that we know the chemical compounds that when high temperature they are individual like periodic table, but when temperature is getting down, they started making some combinations. We say that chemical complexes like CH4, methane, ammonia, carbon dioxide, all these are getting formed over because of that reducing temperature, because of the reducing temperature. And I just said to you, hydrogen is abundant of all. Such atmosphere is called reducing atmosphere. Just giving like a story in brief. Okay, so when condensation is getting started, that the earth condensation happened and the rains continuously because of the combination of molecules like H and O, H2O, that rains continuously made over cooling down of the earth atmosphere. Whenever the atmosphere is cooling down, that the individual chemicals are going to form the complex substances here, as well as rains makes oceans. The way oceans are in salt, the content is more. That's so simple to say that when rains are coming continuously, that particular rains makes the dissolution of all the salts here, and all the salts are flooded over and that form the ocean. So, okay, the story of ocean is over. And the cooling down makes over more combinations. Like I said, the first one, like the formation of the methane, ammonia, the carbon dioxide. These particular in the reduced atmosphere, they went for four reactions. I'm not coming to this particular whatever on the screen. To come into this particular screen, we are going for this series of reaction: condensation, oxidation, reduction, polymerization. Because of the ultraviolet rays, the condensation, oxidation, reduction, polymerization, the four reactions in the hot dilute soup of ocean. Hot dilute soup include that methane, ammonia, that carbon, hydrocarbons, different kinds of components in the hot dilute soup went for condensation, oxidation, reduction, polymerization because of what? Because of ultraviolet rays, because of the lightnings and such reducing atmosphere made over some combinations which results in the formation of sugars, polymers. Likewise, they get formed over. These particular substances which are getting formed because of in that particular layer, these particular substances which are formed there, that the making more combinations afterward, like sugars form the carbohydrate, amino acids, proteins, then nucleic acids. Likewise, that means the finally the hot dilute soup, which is explained by Haldane actually, that hot dilute soup is now the lifelike required materials are ready. Carbohydrate, protein, fats, and minerals are ready. Okay, then what happened? That the microscopic organisms are getting formed. That we say first formed organisms are anaerobic heterotrophs. Then after that, the chemoautotrophs are evolved. Then after, photoautotrophs are evolved. Photoautotroph evolution is resulted in the release of oxygen. The photoautotrophs evolution on the earth makes the release of oxygen. This oxygen is going to form some huge changes in the atmosphere. Slowly reducing atmosphere is turned into oxidizing atmosphere. Okay, so that now let's come to the NCERT sentences here. There was no atmosphere on early Earth. Water vapor, methane, ammonia, the carbon dioxide released from the molten mass covered the surface at the time. Then release of oxygen. Release of oxygen makes over the more evolution of organisms, and the key word for all this is mutation. Continuous mutations makes over the better organisms than the previous, likewise porifera, nidaria, platy2 till chordata, and finally the human evolution is happened. All this story is happened in the 3 billion years, and I just cut short that whatever necessary to our topic. So then the mean period of time when oxygen is formed, that oxygen bind with that go and up and that form the ozone layer. That due to the ultraviolet rays reactions, that oxygen reacted with them and that formed the ozone layer. As it cooled, the ozone layer then started stopping ultraviolet rays to come. The water vapor fell as rain. Okay, let's start the story here. That as it cooled, the water vapor fell as rain to fill all the depressions and form oceans. Then the theory of origin of life. Okay, this is actually what I explained, that is chemical evolution. But before that, we have some stories like abiogenesis, biogenesis, that panspermia, that different kinds of stories. Let's start one after another. That abiogenesis, it states that life came out of decaying and rotting matter like straw and mud. Okay, abiogenesis theory is actually believed by those people. Aristotle, that one of the philosopher, Aristotle is we used to say abiogenesis. He used to say like that all life-like objects, all life is formed from the non-living objects. Like from the mud, he said earthworms and frogs are evolved. In that way, they used to say that from the bread, the fungi are evolved. But Louis Pasteur demonstrated that life comes only from pre-existing life, and disproved this theory. Abiogenesis theory is disproved by Louis Pasteur. He's a scientist, Louis Pasteur. You can see on the screen that Louis Pasteur. Okay, so this Louis Pasteur theory is biogenesis. What he says, The life comes from the pre-existing life. Biogenesis states that life comes from non-living substances. Then for that, he made a pre-sterilized flask. Life did not come from killed yeast, while in another flask open to air, that new living organisms arose. You can see here the two flasks here. That is the Swan neck experiment we used to say this as. That in that the meat broth is taken, then the Swan neck doesn't allow the microorganisms to come inside. Okay, so that when he is taken unsealed, this without swan egg, you can see that microbial growth. So that what he said over life won't come the non-living substance. Life will come from pre-existing life. And his theory is biogenesis theory, which it states that life originates from pre-existing life. Francisco Redi, Spallanzani, Louis Pasteur, they made their own experiments to prove this particular biogenesis theory and to disprove that is the abiogenesis theory. Then cosmozoic theory. Some people believe this particular cosmozoic theory. The cosmic dust from the extraterrestrial substance. Life, according to them, is an extraterrestrial substance. The cosmic dust from the space, they may fall down on that particular, in the form of spores, units of life that transport into different organisms on the earth. They believe like so. The theory of panspermia. Theory of special creation, which it states that everything living or non-living, whatever it may be, was created by supernatural power. Almost all mythological books, all the religions are saying, they're claiming that their God created this particular. So theory of special creation is also a part here, that whether it is true or not, you don't know, that the religious, almost all the religious says that that particular organisms are created by God. Now, our topic is not to discuss about the God, our topic is the theory of chemical evolution. The theory of chemical evolution says that abiogenesis plus biogenesis is our theory of chemical evolution. What Aristotle says life comes from non-living substances. Always, he says. Biogenesis, Louis Pasteur, Spallanzani, Francisco Redi, what they say, life comes always from pre-existing life. So we are giving conclusion here. The first life came from non-living substances, and the continuation of the life is from the living substances. First life from non-living substance and continuation of the life from living substances. That's what we say. Biogenesis first, then but biogenesis is ever since. Then this theory is proposed by all the scientists. The modern scientists will come here that scientific approach is given by O'Farren and Haldane. They state that the first form of the life was originated from pre-existing non-living inorganic and organic molecules such as methane, ammonia, sugar, that water, which they are going to form the sugar, proteins, and nucleic acid. Let's see their experiment. That Stanley Miller and Harold C. Urey, they conducted an experiment here. The experimental issue you can see. So what are the components required for the experimental issue? That let's come with our story. What I said to you. At the time, the atmosphere is reducing atmosphere. Temperatures are high. Okay. Then continuous rains. Temperature is high. That means reducing actually 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000. Likewise, 500, 600, 400. Temperature is reducing, but that is high. That are reducing atmosphere. No oxygen at all. Reducing atmosphere doesn't give the means no oxygen at all. Hydrogen is abundant. So they created all the situations. Whatever we are telling, this particular story, they created all that situations. Similar conditions of the primitive earth, like high temperature, volcanic storms, that are reducing atmosphere. As I said, in that condition, the four reactions will occur: condensation, oxidation, reduction, polymerization. That four reactions. At the time, because of ultraviolet radiations and the lightnings, we created some electric charge like issues. Here you can see that electric charge, when we created water vapor indicates our rains continuous, and the primitive substances like methane, ammonia, and water, that hydrogen gives reducing atmosphere. So at these particular conditions, that here the sample is collected from here. The first observed amino acids in that case are glycine, alanine, aspartic acid. That means when we created these conditions, the extract we got is glycine, alanine, aspartic acid. As you know that they are the essential amino acids which are going to be a part in our life, the human body or any organism body we are talking. So that means it is possible. Okay, they made electric discharge in a closed flask containing methane, ammonia, and hydrogen. Hydrogen gives reducing atmosphere. Water vapor is an indication of rain, and temperature high at the time we say 800 degrees centigrade. As a result, some amino acid, what I said now, glycine, alanine, aspartic acid are formed. In similar experiments, the others observed the formation of sugars, nitrogen bases, the pigment. That means here, the continuation, when it all continued over, when we add some hydrocarbons, nucleic acids are observed. They don't stop actually. They used to form the combinations when they are cooling down, like sugars, carbohydrate, nitrogen bases form the nucleic acid. So in the way, we can say this is the text diagram here. In this way, that they proved this particular theory that non-living substances, from the non-living substances, there is required living substances can be formed. What is the next question for us? Okay, life-like substances are formed. Okay, carbohydrate, proteins are the essential, but when you go in a medical shop, when you take some carbohydrate, proteins and fats in a jar, will it form an organism? No, at least not now. That is because it is reducing atmosphere at the time. Now it is oxidizing atmosphere. Nothing happens like that. But that was continued. The first non-cellular form of life originated 3 billion years ago. In that particular condition, they formed that particular RNA, protein, polysaccharide, carbohydrates, likewise, they formed. This is proved by two scientists, Poserwaitz. That kind of lifelike. That means Miller and Urey experiment is continued actually. Miller and Urey experiment is continued and they created a similar kind of atmosphere, and from these substances, the Poserwaitz are created by O'Parent. Sidney Fox created life. Life is created. That is called microsphere. Even they went for budding. So that means with this we can say that first life is originated from the non-living substances. What next? What next? What next? That is continuous mutations in the nuclear material, which leads to the formation of that forwarding that objects, new organisms here. As I said over, always better. Mutation made, always better than the previous. The better, that leads to the best, like human here in the end of organic evolution. We can't say this is the end. It may continue after a million years of life. The who is going to evolve, who knows? So our theory is this particular life, one after another and one from another, like Nidaria, Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata. The classification we made over because of one after another and one from another concept of evolution itself. Like if you see behind, you'll find reptiles and aves. Then you go little bit, you'll find amphibians. We are the last actually. That's why we can say all are our ancestors only. So the two contrast issues will come here. One is that God created at a time all the organisms. When it will come. No, it is one after another and one from another. It was taken 3 billions of years of time. This is the another theory. So we leave this particular theory that God created all that particular because no way it will help us that what is our chapter here. They're explaining this particular theory, one after another and one from another. To explain that particular phenomena, we are going for evidences. We are not accepting, we are accepting. It doesn't matter about the theory of special creation. We are now moving with evidences for evolution. Which that evidences for what? Evidences for that all the organisms are evolved one after another and one from another. Okay. So for that, let's take the paleontological evidences, that morphological and anatomical evidences, the biochemical evidences, and evidences for evolution by natural selection. Let's take one after another. The study of fossils or paleontology, and the fossils are remains of the hard parts of the life that forms the found in rocks and earth crust. The fossils are written documents of evolution. We used to say the fossils as a written documents of evolution. So how does the fossils helpful for the evolution? That they helpful for by the availability of the fossils. You can see on the screen by the availability of the fossils. The modern horse nowadays we are seeing their ancient ancestor is going to be a horse called Hyracotherium. From the Hyracotherium, that Eohippus, Mesohippus, Myohippus, Parahippus, Meryhippus, Pliohippus, finally this equus came. That we can say that that's a proved issue actually. So how can you say? How can you say? Because of availability of the fossils in the different layers of the soil, we'll find these kind of fossils. So that means we have a complete information about the horse evolution because of fossils. Not only horse is called equus. So the fossils indicate the connecting link between the two groups of organisms, like Archaeopteryx lithographica, Copenhagen, Bavaria of Germany. We got Archaeopteryx lithographica. This is not the. This is the diagram actually. When it is available in Germany, we got this particular the fossil here. So what is the speciality of this particular fossil here? That with that only we came to understand the connection between the reptilia and apes, that reptilians and apes are having some connecting link. This because this particular Archaeopteryx lithographica, litho on soil, graphica line. That means why it is named lithographica. That on soil it's just a line, it is available, and that we said like so. So Archaeopteryx lithographica. They're having both characters of reptiles and apes. So that's why we can say by the availability of fossils, we can understand the connecting links between the organisms. These kind of words you can see in Avatar. So this is these are the expected diagram, hypothetical. Okay, so then so many other like Tyrannosaurus Rex. That is also a fossil. That dinosaur, plesiosaur, ichthyosaur, stegosaur, pterosaur. So many fossils we got. They give an idea about the form and structure of extincted animal. That with that only we came to understand the dinosaur structure. These are the different kinds of fossils available from the dinosaur. So we made a line even by the availability of that particular reptilians. We made a line. So how to understand that the people who are reading organic evolution immediately will get doubt by looking these kind of diagrams. So whether to read or not, whether we get or not. If we want to read, how to read. Okay, so if you actually 99% there is no chance we can say, but nobody can say like that. Maybe if it comes in the this year, if we get next year onwards, what's there in it? I may say like that. Last year we got question from here. You have to read. I may say because I am the lecturer. But who is going to lose? That you people. That's why every year I used to say 99% there is no chance. But you people need to prepare. How to prepare? This is a sequence. Stegosaurus, from there Triceratops is formed. Should write like that. Make a box. Stegosaurus and Triceratops. Then Brachiosaurus, Tyrannosaurus. By the availability of fossil. That so many has to come. That's why we just made some blanks here. Then you see this is Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is not having any relation with any other. You see crocodiles are having some connection with the pteranodon. Likewise, you need to understand crocodile in pteranodon in one series, then stegosaurus and triceratops. Then their basic characters are same. That's why we have a tree here. We have a tree. That means their base is same, but they because of their wide differences we made a particular chart like this. So if you want to make a notes, you make like this. Number one, box number one, stegosaur, triceratops. Box number two, crocodilians and pteranodon. Box number three, Archaeopteryx. Box number four, Brachiosaurus. From there, Tyrannosaurus. Get a one. The significance of the fossils, which we are discussing from the beginning. The study of fossils in the sedimentary layers indicates the geological period based on the availability of each layer. This showed that life forms varied over time. Some life forms are restricted to certain geological spans, like dinosaurs. Okay, so this is about the organic evolution, the basic issues we are talking